Alright, hello everybody, JaffaArchfiend here, and well, we're going to be taking a look at the new preview that's appearing today. One of the few times I've been able to do so, because I'm usually at work at this point. Hey! So what it's going to be taking a look at today, the content is, for the stream, Necromunda, Horus Heresy, Warhammer 40k, Warcry, Underworlds, and Age of Sigmar. So those are the 6 formats. We're getting some kind of preview image coming through now in the background of this. Let's see. Just trying to get a good lighting on this. So that looks sistery. Sister battle. That's Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar. No, that's Drukhari. That's something Drukhari looking. This is the whole serpents and serpentine tail there. Can't quite tell what that is in the background there, though. Don't know if my mouse is even showing up in the same place for you guys. So on the left-hand side, we've got something that looks like a Sister of Battle by the looks of things. Judging purely from the haircut. And the what looks like a plasma pistol or some sort on the other side of the Warhammer logo. Sister Kane there. And not in the middle, and not sure what that is on the right hand side, so should be interesting to hear. Oh, thank you for that heart drop. So does anyone think so far chat in the Warhammer stream is behaving itself so far. Time will tell. Hello, Mr. Knighton. You remember the mail to order stuff a while back? Oh, they're starting.
Hello everybody and welcome, we are live. Welcome to the Warhammer Preview Online, Shadow, Iron and Broken Realms. I am Adam Troke and I'm joined by the wonderful Eddie Eccles. We'd like to welcome you to another Warhammer Preview Online.
Yeah, absolutely. A pleasure to be here again, Adam. A pleasure to be running another one of these awesome Warhammer previews. It's always fun to show off new stuff to people who are excited about seeing new Warhammer. We've got a really cool lineup of stuff, I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah, it's just a pleasure to share it with.
Okay, so for some reason my visuals are not keeping up with what's actually on the stream.
It's been a fun week in the Warcom team. I would say office, but we're almost entirely working from our various homes or dungeons or bunkers or whatever we've got. And it's been really fun.
I'm going to try and fix this.
The content, the videos, the pictures, everything that we're going to talk about today come together, working with the Book and Box Game Studio, the miniature
properties,
studio, to make sure we get everything right. We've got a cool lineup. It's been 40k-tastic for a little while now, and there's still going to be some Warhammer 40,000 within this preview, but there's a milieu of other content as well. What are you excited about? You've seen all the little logos, the different systems. Which one has piqued your interest the most, Eddie? You're muted.
Hello. Right. For some reason, it just decided to mute me. I don't know why. Yes, so I think we're obviously...
So the chat part's coming through
recently. There's been loads of really cool stuff. We've had a brand new
Okay,
edition,
chat's coming through, but visual is not.
Apparently, we make even more games than Warhammer 40,000.
Don't know why.
This preview is a really nice opportunity to kind of have a look at some of the stuff.
Go into settings.
For the other games, I think I'm sure, like you, Adam, I'm a Renaissance Warhammer hobbyist. I kind of dip my toe into all the various Warhammer pools, so I'm particularly excited, I think, to see what Age of Sigmar is going to bring, because that's the other big system, obviously, for Warhammer, but there's lots of cool stuff in this preview, I think. I'm a big fan of the various
that's bleeding annoying
miniatures that we've seen so far. I think everything that's come out for Warcry so far has been an exceptional miniature and just a really cool piece of the lore. But I think I'm excited about everything, really. I know you're a big Necromunda player yourself, Adam?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Exactly where I was going to go.
I know that.
The title preview, Shadow.
I'm streaming from their Twitch stream, so the Twitch part is working fine, hard drive. It's just that me streaming the Twitch is not working for some reason. Don't know why. Try and do a refresh, see if the refresh works. See if that'll do anything for the YouTube side of things.
I suppose.
Doing something.
The chat has gone wild with things that people are excited about. Quite a lot of love for the Horus Heresy, so I think they're going to be well pleased. People getting excited for Age of Sigmar and all sorts. So, as well as the things that we're excited about seeing today, Eddie, done any hobby lately?
I've been doing a little bit.
Okay, so at least you got the
like a lot of people in the
a freeze frame.
Oh boy. Recently, but with an eye, my next project might be for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So
well, I suppose that's what I get for trying to do this on the laptop.
About a year and a half ago.
Quick question: can you guys hear them all right?
Quite a lot of orcs. So I was looking over the models that I painted recently. I think I'm on about 70 models, and I was sort of thinking, if this was a Custodes army, I probably would be into about 4,000 points at this point. But I've just about broken the 1,000 point barrier, so I've still got a little bit of a way to go before I manage to make it all the way up to kind of 2,000, 3,000 point force. But I'm really enjoying making them so far and painting them up. How about yourself, Adam? What have you been up to?
So also predominantly Warhammer 40,000 myself. I'm properly in Primaris Dark Angel land. Task Force Zephon has left its firstborn roots.
Okay, that's not it.
Now becoming Primaris in grand scale. So I've been painting warriors and tanks and intercessors. I was up entirely too late last night painting one of the awesome dreadnoughts. So yeah, just loving it, absolutely loving it. Chat, let us know what hobby you're up to, and also my favourite question whenever we're on a live stream is I'm vaguely curious where you've tuned in from. It's like a overcast 150 BST here in the UK. Where is it you are? Have you got up in the middle of the night to join us? Is it a really early morning out in the US? Give us a shout and let us know where you're from. Already the
okay, so that's something at least.
Favourite things.
Yeah, it's
everything from Cornwall to
I don't know why it's frozen up, but at least you guys can hear them at least. I'll try and refresh when it comes to the actual models being displayed. It's a pain in the butt though, but oh well. It's a laptop. Yeah, better than nothing. Better than nothing.
Yeah, I've been to Australia twice and I've never managed to work out the time zone. So,
it's just different. They just have different clocks.
Toriel Black,
one
of our regular Australian viewers, is there in the chat, so I'm sure they can put me right if I'm wrong.
Oh, what have I been doing lately? Haven't been able to get much hobby done.
Up in the chat, apparently they're 9 hours ahead.
But,
so yeah, in that case,
managed to just get these in today.
The way this is going to work, we've got a few minutes before
from the made to order a while ago, so
a slew of previews are going to go
the
topics that we've talked about.
Adepticon Terminator Librarian and the Special Sister model, so those just arrived today, just in time for this.
Warhammer Underworlds,
so
wild and varied set of topics.
Well,
if you're in the chat, keep us comment. If you're not in the chat and you want to join in the conversation, I believe the chat is restricted to subscribers only. Sometimes it goes a bit crazy.
Good. Subscribers only, they said, for this. That explains why it's so well behaved at the moment.
Not that you will be helping keep things running smoothly.
Yeah, all hail the moderators.
So, sorry, the voice in my ear said...
When am I going to do another reaction video? I'm doing one right now!
7 minutes before we go live. So,
but No, in terms of the
just while we're here, that if you're
terms of
the
actual
preview,
reactions,
really cool in one of the videos that you want to have a look at.
not sure. I've got stuff lined up. I've pre-recorded. I've already recorded some of Steam Universe Future. I just need to get those uploaded to my Dropbox, and then send a link to you guys for that. As for anything else, not at the. You're looking for something.
This stream itself will be available to watch, not live.
Oh, that
rather listen to myself.
It's over there, on top of the.
I think if you've got questions.
No, on your right, next to my foot. There it is. You forgot to open that way, didn't you?
Behind the scenes by the Warcom as we go along, and there'll be more pictures and stuff as well. Yeah. I have no doubt. It's quite interesting seeing the things that people are speculating on.
Zach, I have played Halo Reach a while back on the 360. Am I going to play it? Yeah, that was my brother. That was my brother coming in. Am I going to play Halo Reach? Probably not. It's not. Well, maybe later type of thing. I enjoyed Halo Reach. That much I'm definite. I definitely enjoyed it. The trick at the minute is just finding somewhere to put the console at the moment, because I've reorganised my room since I last played. So, it's been a while. So, I mean, I've still got the 360 parked up on a shelf, so trick's just getting it plugged in.
Yeah,
and
I think,
finding somewhere to plug it in.
Where, I don't know about you, Adam, but there's so many projects out there and so many Warhammer armies that I don't think, if I was given all the time in the world, I would be able to complete all the various projects that come up with. The studio do
preaching, Eddie, preaching.
Out new models literally every week. There's something cool and new and something inspiring to build up or paint. I've had to kind of be a bit more disciplined in recent years to try to kind of limit myself to only doing a certain number of projects a year, just so I can complete stuff. And I'm personally very keen to see the return of things like events and tournaments, which were always my catalyst for completion. They were always a good inspiration, but also things like Arms on Parade, and just setting myself deadlines and stuff to complete armies. Otherwise, there's so much cool.
Although, having said that, I have finished up some Fallen.
That said,
myself, if I can find them in my Instagram.
This morning and order myself some snotlings.
So I did post up the pictures of them in there.
In a very long time. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the snotlings, but I reckon they might find their way onto some kind of vehicle in my army somewhere.
So you're a prolific converter. Do you think you'll? I was going to say, do you think you'll use them as a Blood Bowl team, or do you think you'll use them as fodder for other?
I think they'll probably end up in my Warhammer 40,000 army. I'm sort of eyeing up the pump wagon with a killer can to see if I can make like a pump wagon killer can weird combo thing full of snotlings. That's like the starting point.
Sure.
And there's quite a lot of them that are just kind of look like they're sitting around throwing fungus at people. So I'll probably put them on the back of squigoths and stuff so they can.
I post that link in there.
My army rides past. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes.
That sounds awesome.
Pop that there.
Chat, let us know what motivates you to get.
I have not reacted to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mostly because mostly because I enjoy that series far too much. That and Nickelodeon. So, I mean,
which of the Necromunda Outlanders would you bring back? Oh, do you remember Necromunda?
Wait, Mass Effect's getting a remaster? That's the first I'm hearing of it. But yeah, as for why I haven't done Avatar, it's because of Nickelodeon mostly. Because even though it's now on Netflix and all, I have various other channels.
So you had the zombie.
Because remember, a while back I did Danny Phantom, and that show had ended for years. And I also tried to do Invader Zim. However, Nickelodeon via Viacom, or Viacom via Nickelodeon, whichever way around they wanted, went on a bit of a delete spree on that one. They went a bit of a blocking spree. So, and that was shows that were old and done. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is still recent fresh, especially now with it being re-released in not Netflix over in America.
I think that's kind of my favourite little corner.
No.
Horror.
That would probably get far quicker than anything.
My pick if we could explore anywhere.
So.
I think Necromunda the planet has got plenty of opportunity and scope for things.
Oban Star Racer. Oh god, that takes me back. Aha, that's the days of Fox Kids.
That's
the days of Fox Kids and Jetix here in the UK.
by the new open war.
That is on my list.
Pack.
That has been on my list for a while.
So, that sounds exciting. Hoping they'll return to stock. I'm sure
the trick is getting back into reacting and all that stuff. So
a lot of people are very excited.
I've got the lists and of what I want to do.
Building up to 40K.
So
yeah, I think
it's just
for me,
getting the
it feels
time
like
to
the
do.
thing that Warhammer 40,000 has been missing for years. As soon as
Am I going to play Mass Effect?
Yeah, that just fits. That's exactly how.
Maybe. It very much depends on how this apparent remaster handles it, or if I'll wind up just doing the other previous stuff, but it really does depend.
Your characters developing and gaining
especially
battle scars and all that sort of stuff.
I'll hold off until the new consoles and all that come out before I do any other games beyond this, because just to see how they're playing out on that.
The Eddie of 20 years ago who started playing Warhammer and I fell in love with that narrative.
I think so. Somebody in the chat has just mirrored exactly what you said. Hobby Vice says Crusade is a great motivator. It gives ownership back to the hobbyist and makes forces theirs again. It feels a bit like it's 1995. So that same vibe that you were touching on.
Just got to Google this.
To see people's sort of enthusiasm for new projects and stuff coming on. Speaking of new projects, we are right on the cusp of kicking off our preview. So if you've just joined us, you haven't missed anything. We're about to leap into it. I believe we start off with a video.
Okay, no, a release date might be revealed in October.
Let's begin the previews.
So, hello, here we go. Horus Heresy. The Dark Angels. Oh, I really wish my the YouTube side of this was not screwing up for you guys, because this looks gorgeous. I will probably later on re-edit this video when the stream's finished. I'll probably do a re-edit version for this live stream, where I take the live stream, take the stream itself, and properly stick them together for you guys' sake. Purely to pre-order 4th of September for the Thramas Crusade. Nice. Have I played or watched Persona?
Boom.
I'm aware of Persona. I have done neither, though. I have not played it or watched it.
That put pre-orders, I believe, on the 4th of September. The Horus Heresy. How exciting is that, Eddie?
So it's very exciting, Adam. I think.
And I have been. I know Persona has a.
I think it's no secret
that anime.
We both have,
and I have been tempted. However,
the First Legion divide, but
I did a Danganronpa reaction a while back, and Sony went all nuke on that. That was a whole string of strikes against my channel back when I had Danganronpa, which was the first case of my channel getting nuked. So, and Persona is very much a Sony connection. So, I probably won't do a reaction to the Persona anime. As for the video game,
this is a really interesting one. Horus Heresy lore, the bedrock of Warhammer 40,000. The Dark Angels Legion haven't particularly been heavily engaged until now, and what you essentially see is Horus's plan to keep them that way. And so the Night Lords, who are renowned for their sort of foul and tricksy hit and run tactics and waging terror war, basically run amok through an entire system of the galaxy, with the Dark Angels sort of doggedly snapping at their heels. It's a really vicious and bitter campaign between the two forces, and you essentially you have one of the most cold and cruel and calculating of Horus's lieutenants going up against one of the most clinical and precise of those still loyal to the Emperor, and it's a really interesting matchup that's been explored a little bit through the Horus Heresy novels, we've seen, and now we get to replay that with our models and our armies.
Yeah, I think there's a nice thing here as well, which is that the Dark Angels in many ways are the kind of the legions as they were meant to be. That they work kind of cohesively as a force. The Lion is very much in command of them. You have the kind of the absolute pinnacle of what a Space Marine Legion was always meant to be. They're kind of respected and looked up to even by the
Oh yeah,
kind of Horus and
I mean, the Dark Angels Legion was the first.
And in the Night Lords, you have almost the complete opposite end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the scum and villainy of
kind of the absolute bad guys. There is nobody who reads any of the Night Lords lore and goes, yeah, I can think these guys seem like the good guys. I can you can sympathise with them, and you can see how they've got to that place, and you can feel the tragedy of them. But they're definitely the bad guys. And then the Dark Angels have that kind of honour and kind of knightly chivalry almost, and that's matched against the Night Lords. And
God!
The Dark Angels have to kind of dig into that, kind of fight dirty a little bit.
Which Primarch do I want to see back in 40k? Sorry, just looking for Valric. You mentioned Primarchs, Valric appears. He's like Beetlejuice.
So the first thing, I guess, the Horus Heresy.
Well, the Lion. I want to see the Lion. I want to see Vulcan make their reappearance. Because
not only is this key to playing with those models within the Age of Darkness.
No, Zach, I'm not.
Jam-packed with all the lore and artwork and fantastic imagery you need to explore a section of the Horus Heresy. Book 9. It's amazing to think we're on book 9 of this series.
I'll probably get this Horus Heresy book, even though I don't play Horus Heresy, but I'm probably going to get this purely to see more lore information about the Dark Angels.
But these books alone are just like heirlooms.
There's just
finish.
Any traitors?
About it you would love. And very, very soon. This is
I mean,
the Horus Heresy fans have been very
I've already got my traitor Primarch.
Passionate and gang, so it's good for them to get the thing they've been itching for.
Yeah, one of my favourite things in these books, and I think that the Horus Heresy books do this better than almost anything else in existence, is that...
but if I had to choose any other traitor Primarch to return, I would want to see Lorgar. If only for the sheer giggles of seeing Lorgar, the progenitor for the Imperial cult, going up against the Sisters of Battle and all that stuff. It is... That would just be absolutely glorious.
And putting original spins on colour schemes that you've seen hundreds of times as well. So, you know, adding just a few little dashes of colour here and there, or making, you know, a darker colour scheme, or the Crusade colour scheme, or a certain company within one of the legions that's just a little bit different.
Yes, there's an amazingly talented pool of artists and graphic illustrators.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got some nice units in these.
Homes now, but when I was in the Forge Road office, there was a whole bay of them, and they were like illuminators, you know, bringing to life these fantastic sort of unexplored corners of the 40k universe. You know, the universe that was 10,000 years before we know it today. The chat has just gone wild, by the way. A whole swathe of Night Lords fans. A big shout out to Night Lords fans. Some of them came to the Night Lords, I imagine, from Aaron Dembski-Bowden's awesome series of books, which did an incredible job of turning murderers and villains into characters you
I've been over this before. My main reason for not wanting to get the new Avengers game is because I'm not interested.
We get to see more of them,
simple as that.
Before, I guess, Ben,
the comment section is just mere extra reasonings, and I'm gonna have to refresh here so you guys can see these. I'm gonna refresh the Twitch streams so you guys can see these, because these are absolutely gorgeous looking. See if I can get it in time for it.
Elite,
hopefully you guys can see it.
Of the Night Lords Legion, they are awesome, but also you get a clear indicator of just how far along the sliding scale of sort of loyalist you now are, because they're adorned with not just, you know, a skull and they're wearing
these are Night Lords.
They are the backs.
I think these, for me, are some of the best looking Terminator miniatures we've ever seen. So I think you're absolutely right. These are, you'd be very hard pressed to look at these.
They are absolutely.
You know, how did we ever think these were going to end up being good guys? You can see this kind of, even if you decided that you had loyalist Night Lords, they're still very, very much butchers.
Basically, the way Night Lords are, for those unfamiliar, for a very basic version.
Got those kind of
Think Batman
look like they are
if he went
for brutality.
the route of the
That is
Joker.
not an efficient blade. That is a blade that's designed to hurt when it kills.
In terms of being a
And then you've
mass
got all
murderer
the cool
type.
engine weaponry, like heavy flames and all type weapons. But even right down to the helms on those guys.
Basically mass murdering
the level of
Batman.
detail is just stunning. I think
With
I'm
a-
super excited to see
with
what people
a
do
mix
when
of
they get their hands on
vampirism
the Batman.
thrown
And I
in
think
as well
also,
for good
as
measure.
with all the Horus Heresy stuff, when we see Terminators and
I am not talking the romantic vampire or anything. I'm talking full on monster vampire. So
or even just a chaos army, and you want to kind of mix in some extra bits
that is the
of
Night
options.
Lords.
This is just a wealth of opportunity, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, it really is. Sensational looking models, and a glimpse, I guess, of the sorts of things that we can expect to find nestled within Book 9 of the Horus
They are
Heresy.
just absolutely gorgeous.
That's a pretty cool way to kick off the.
That's cool. Yeah.
The preview. I think the thing I'm still most excited for, Horus Heresy wise, and it will be the thing that drags me screaming into the 30k universe, as it were, is the Lion. When I can finally get my grubby paws on him, all systems go. I'll be playing Gloss Black Space Marines forever.
Oh, I know the feeling, Adam.
Even as a renowned heretic and arch traitor, and kind of definitely on the side of the fallen, the Lion model, I have to say, is absolutely stunning, and I definitely will be picking one up. I can't wait actually to see if there's a few little nuggets of
The Emperor stopped using
of
the...
other Dark
Oh,
Angel lore in there.
you mean
Dark Angel lore of the Heresy.
for Star Wars?
Like Horswain and Luther,
I think it was because he
and
wanted
very,
to
very cool
distance
characters, which I think all
the
have
Clone
their
Wars
own
from his current regime
backstory, whichever side of the
type of thing.
the divide they ended up on.
Plus, regular humans are more
it's
easily
a great time for
manipulated
Horus Heresy.
than clone
If you,
troopers.
ever get a
Because
chance to have a conversation
clone
with
troopers you have to program and all that stuff and upkeep, and they were designed to grow, fight, and die. Whereas the Imperium part... Oh,
video preview.
next video is coming up.
Everybody hold on tight. We'll be right back after this.
alright. Okay, what do we have here? This sounds... Oh, Necromunda. Oh, doggies! Oh, I'm sorry, are those some kind of twisted jump packs they have? House Orlok. Oh! Oh, those look enough. Oh, puppies! Cyber puppies! Cyber doggos!
So, the House of Iron, Gang Orlok. Adam, I know that you are an enormous Orlok fan and an enormous Necromunda fan, and as you hinted at already, this may have been the thing you're most excited about in today's preview. So, what did we just see?
Oh, I just can't get over it. It's so great. As I said, lifelong fan, and for me, this is
maybe?
the ultimate exploration. The thing I'm most
In regards to
excited about
Persona
in all
5, maybe?
Iron is the book,
Mostly
which
because
details,
I have never played any Persona games. I'm aware the Persona games are a thing.
They're a house which has built its
But,
reputation on gathering ore, specifically iron, that fuels the industry of all of Necromunda. And this book is going to delve into the essentially militant wing of the house. So Ben's just put the picture up on the screen. It's a rad cover. It does like a top-down view of the house.
Very nice cover.
As well as sort of the gang fighters that were
Just
in
gonna
it.
refresh so you guys can see this. I hate that I have to do this but either way, it'll get you guys to see it at least. But I'm having to refresh each time so you guys can see what's on my end of things.
Politicking and the intrigue and everything that goes on, their house affiliations, their rivalries. House Orlok is just a tremendous, for my money at least,
So,
tremendously exciting.
Necromunda, for those,
of the Necromunda fabric.
it's sort of like
Some
Cyberpunk
of the
meets
other-
Mad
sorry,
Max.
on a roll. Some of the other gang houses in Necromunda,
I
they
suppose
have,
is a way to put it.
obvious thing, like,
Cyberpunk
Alliance,
meets Mad Max.
but-
Actually, yeah, that's kind of accurate how to describe it, I think.
Sort of, chem injected and ready for close combat warfare, and the lax for sneaking around and sort of espionage. House Orlok are just rough, tough, ready to fight dudes and dudettes, as we saw, who they carved out their own niche in Necromunda through grit and hard work, and I love it.
I think one of the things that I really like about all of these books we've seen so far is that we've known a little bit about the gang itself, so that the gang...
Necromunda,
These really do delve into the wider...
I mean, there is one campaign, I think, in it that has zombies, I think.
What do we know about not just the gang, but the wider
think.
House of Iron?
Yeah, so there's a lot to say.
I'm actually trying to remember now.
Do a better
Well,
job of,
not zombies per se, more like
lore than I will in the time that we have here. But essentially,
kind of zombies.
Is,
I know there's a mission or two involving that kind of thing. Because, well,
my gang.
Yeah, give it time. It's 40k.
So, like,
yeah.
Essentially, at their absolute core, you've got like 20 or 30 Orlok gangs.
Because
like absolutely sworn loyalty to each other. And
you know,
like,
Judge Dredd with the mega cities and all that.
Of like a biker gang.
Think that, but
so they
on a larger scale. And that is one hive. Necromunda is the events going on in one hive. So, Cyberpunk, Mad Max, and Judge Dredd. That's Necromunda.
And they'll all stand up for each other. They run enormous.
Set in the 41st millennium.
The ash waste outside of the hive.
For context, we are currently in the second millennium or third millennium at the moment.
Sort of land trains of ore and stuff back into the hive.
For us IRL,
and then
we're in the second or third millennium. This stuff takes place in the 41st.
Seems like a good segue into looking at some models, I think, Adam.
Yes, I'm glad we did. So,
Dark Tide. Oh yeah, that's the.
It's all plastic. It's all brilliant.
Oh god, that's the Imperial Guard one, yeah.
All of wreckers, and then the absolutely brilliant cyber.
Oh, hello.
I think Ben is just.
Who's pressing buttons?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm gonna refresh the stream so you guys can see these models because these do look lovely.
So if they've got a big jump package thing on there, a wrecker, and so the leftmost character on the screen is a wrecker. The Orloks have to guard, as I was mentioning, they guard their convoys of ore and stuff backwards and forwards.
So you see what I mean by Cyberpunk,
sort of raiders and attackers.
Judge Dredd, and Mad Max.
Sort of gang prospects. These are young and enthusiastic Orloks looking to make their way bigger into the gangs. They're willing to take bigger risks, and so they wear these little boost packs on their back, and they can leap from the convoy onto attacking vehicles and take them out. So there's an exciting element.
Oh, when was the last time I reacted to SU?
You might have noticed there's a bit of verticality to Necromunda, a bit of up and down. If you've ever been pushed off a ledge, you'll realise how.
I will check in a minute after the stream, but I think I reacted to the first 6 episodes of Future. Haven't uploaded them yet.
Some of the conversions ? I'll bet there's going to be all sorts of uses for these.
I think it also adds like a really different element to this. The way
About
the game's going to play.
3 weeks ago, maybe. I think.
If you go back to like the original Necromunda gang, they were all relatively.
Haven't uploaded them yet because I wanted to get all of it done, but I haven't had much chance to do that at the moment. Because work and helping my gran fix her roof and all that, and other stuff around the house.
Yeah, I think you see a little bit of the mining element come in as well. They're all carrying demo packs, the wreckers.
That was a while ago. The Danny Phantom J-Clone Death Battle. Yeah, watch that.
You can see there's a variety of different weapons. The Orloks are kind of famous for their Bowie knives, that sort of distinctive combat knife shape.
Pretty much the only reason I'm subbed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a few other people who are in the same boat as you, to be honest. I don't blame you.
Looks like he's been like inspired by the Sisters of Battle. He's maybe seen like a little bit somewhere, and he's like, "Oh, double hand flame with jump back. That's the way to go."
Love it. So the two other people, the humans that aren't wreckers, are the gang champions. And so you can see that there's.
I'm just looking at these models. They're just
available for them. On the one.
Are there Ogrins in Necromunda? Yeah, they're called the Goliaths.
A rapid fire autogun and a cool pose. That's pretty much all the Orloks normally come to a fight with. Whereas the one in the foreground is ready to just absolutely smash faces. So the weapon he's holding is called an arc hammer, and obviously it's part of the sort of industrial tools that they.
Goliaths are basically Ogrins.
Or reclamation, but it's also going to smash people's faces, which is lovely, and great big massive power hands too. We should probably address the canid in the room though. Somebody in the chat described this as a box of 2 canids and some free stuff. And I'm inclined to agree, because we've already seen the Orlok Road Captain, one of the Orlok gang.
There's a distinct lack of doggos.
Now you've got more options. They're just fantastic. They've got a real sort of future Doberman.
Did I private my Steven News reactions or am I tripping? No, you're not tripping. They kept getting flagged, and with the way they were getting flagged, I was expecting a bunch of strikes, so to prevent the channel getting strikes and all that kind of stuff, I removed the videos and then started putting them up in seasons in a series of links for my Dropbox.
Canids of various sorts have shown up in
which I think I've done in which I think I've provided in links on previous videos.
And what Inquisitor doesn't want some models,
for the sake of this one, however,
in the middle with the pointing hand.
Not true. Space Wolves have them a lot. There are no wolves on Fenris, James. There are no knights on. There are no wolves on Fenris.
Yeah,
there are no doggos on Fenris.
Back to things like the Dropbox and some of the Adeptus Mechanicus robots in the way that those hands and articulation work. You can almost see that guy being part of a Adeptus Mechanicus force in some way, shape or form. So I think, as well as obviously seeing loads of really cool all-up gangs, I'm looking forward to seeing some of these models pop up all over Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, and so House of Iron and this are going to be sort of a golden time for Orlok gangers and gang collectors in particular. But I think it's a good time for all of Necromunda because it continues this role that we've seen. We've had so far. We've had House of Chains and House of Blades. No.
The
other gangs with a little bit of a sneer, so I may not have paid proper attention. It's really good. A great time for Necromunda collectors. So if you're an Orlok player out there, get your gang ready because reinforcements are inbound. And if you're not, get started. Right. I'm getting the thumbs up from the one Ben Bailey, the man behind the scenes, making this flow beautifully. We have, I believe, another video. Can't believe it. This one is an absolute cracker. We'll see you on the other side.
Alright, who we got here? Oh, 40k! Oh god, it's the Mechanicus! The Magnetic 7, oh lord! Billy the Ned? Oh god. What the Dimensional Plunge Drifter. Oh, they are having an absolute blast. They're having an absolute blast with this trailer. Oh lordy, that is an interesting Necron model.
The team who make the videos for Warhammer TV just do something so far out there that it blows our minds with joy. Eddie, what was that?
I'm glad you asked, Adam. So as we said, most of this preview will be things that aren't Warhammer 40,000, but we still have a little bit of cool Warhammer 40,000 stuff to talk about. And what we've seen just there is a Hexmark destroyer.
The power of the Force is nothing next to the power of chaos.
Well, it's this guy. So,
plus, this is the kind of stuff you'd be facing.
We know what destroyers are.
Once I get the video refreshed. So you can see this absolute mad lad.
A subcult of the Necrons who have dedicated themselves to the destruction of all organic life. They've decided that, you know what, conquest isn't for me. I'm not about harnessing the power of the lesser races. I just want to see them all destroyed. So there are cults within the Necron society that basically push that ideology. And this guy is a Hexmark destroyer. He is a former Deathmark. Deathmarks are your kind of Necron snipers, but when the Deathmarks decide to join or kind of fall to the madness of the destroyer cult, they become a Hexmark destroyer. This guy is basically a 6-pistol-toting death machine. And you can see that
yeah, they did used to skyrocket in views, yeah. The Steven Universe fandom is massive.
And command box sets,
but it has been slowly dying down, but I'll still get the stuff uploaded.
6 eyes, one for each of his pistols. So he's similar in some ways to characters like the Genestealer Calamorph,
yeah.
kind of characters like Cypher, so pistol toting,
Oh,
short
God.
range damage.
Oh, Zach.
In game terms, he is designed basically to just blast.
The issue is that
vast amounts
the Warhammer
of
40k universe
who
Star
like
Wars are on severely
hiding
different
in kind of just
scales
to clear out. So you send him
of
in, he
power
just needs to
level.
kill everybody in the room, drop
It's
this
like-
guy in, and he will blast away. He's got some really, really good in-game rules. He can do stuff like he gets to shoot 6 times, as you imagine, with all of his pistols. Each one of those pistols is a pretty hefty stat line. They're strength 6.
You might be thinking of the
Every
NID
time you kill a
version
model, he
for the
can
Genestealer
fire
Cultist, James.
So he can effectively
Exactly.
he can just
Alright.
He's very, very good in game.
Okie dokie.
He does another
Have fun.
interesting thing for your army as well, because we've seen a lot
I will,
of
don't worry.
in terms of destroyer units join Warhammer 40,000 recently. Basically opens
See ya,
up
Volkers.
opportunities to do things like all destroyer armies. So we know that we've got destroyer HQs, Skullpack Lords.
Good
We've seen
God,
a couple
that
of
model.
destroyer units already exist. We've got the big floaty ones. We've got the combat skittery forward ones. This guy adds another tool to your destroyer
just-
arsenal. So if you want to lean really heavily into that destroyer theme for your Necron army, you can.
It's wild. There's just so much to unpack there. I love it. For me, my favourite thing, I'm always sort of driven by the lore behind the models and the models themselves.
The bad and the botty.
The idea that he's like, I'm okay with this machine thing, let's destroy all life. It is brilliant. And then he's got at least one eyeball per gun. I kind of love the idea that he's like, each one is separately targeting and he's firing. That's a fantastic...
I like the idea that there's like
So-
a little laser point that comes on each one and they're kind of like flicking around the room. But you can just imagine him, like, he just never stops firing. Like, as soon as he's within range of enemies, he's like, pew, 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 pew. Just keeps on shooting until basically all of his foes are dead. And there's like a fun thing with destroyers. Which
What is the
basically
Warhammer
most
universe
of them
overpowered?
kind of wish that they
Well-
had flesh and blood. They keep the shape. Of
This
the
guy's
unit
weapons are
that
automatically
fight
set to
people
disintegrate,
humanoid
for
form.
example.
Even like the lords and things like the Silent King have kept that shape. The destroyers have basically abandoned all pretense of ever wanting to revert to their former
So,
self,
you've got
and they've
whole
gone, right, I don't need
legions,
legs,
and I
if
mean
can float, if I can
legions,
scuttle forward, if I can climb
trillions
rocks. 2 arms isn't enough
of these
so you take
guys.
another 4, thanks very much. So there's like a really fun thing you get with destroyers that kind of
And that's just one corner
gives
of the
you like a really
galaxy.
different
These things are
perspective.
spread all over.
Another thing to mention for this guy as well is he also gets all the rules you'd expect from a destroyer.
And that's just
So
one
as well as
faction.
hitting people on just 2+, you can also reroll ones to
Think
hit.
of all
So
the rage and
all your 6
anger that
guns
the
are gonna be
Force
killing
that the dark
times,
side of
pretty
the
much
Force
always
supposedly draws on all that,
and if
right?
he kills something, he gets another shot. So
Imagine
he's
that
really
coming
good
out
at
to
it.
literally be the personification coming up to smack your head in.
He is, but he's also a character, so you can hide him behind units. And much like the rest of things like your Hexmark,
There's a reason
your
Space
Deathmarks,
Marines
you know
are
what they
genetically
tend to do. They
modified
hide
to
in
being
kind of pocket dimensions
7 feet
and they kind of
tall
pop out,
without armor,
ready to
9
snipe
feet tall
enemies.
in
This guy does the
armor,
same thing.
and their
You have a
weapons
spe-
are
they
miniature
synergize
rocket
well with it,
launchers
because what the
as their
Deathmarks do is
standard
they're actually
ammunition
able to
type.
take out characters. They go, this one guy, really kill him dead. Whereas he goes, this unit.
It is a series
wipe him
of
out.
scale.
So if you have him alongside a
I mean,
Deathmark army, if that's your
the
kind of
standard
preferred favourite
weapon
Necrons,
for
you can have a few
the
of your Deathmarks
Star
who've
Wars
fallen to the
troops
destroyer curve,
is
mix
a
them
laser
amongst them,
rifle.
and then your Deathmarks can take out all the enemy characters, and the Hexmarks
Where,
can
so
drop in
that's
and wipe out
basically
the
a
enemies that are
flashlight
trying to
by
hold on to
comparison.
objectives or, cowering
You have
cover somewhere.
a laser
It's a really great
versus
Fantastic.
miniature
Somebody in the chat has a
rockets
question, that I wanted to ask, which is,
with explosive,
gunslingers in
combustible,
40k right now, right? So
explosive rounds, combustion
I really like,
rounds,
the way that
and
they
oh god, yeah. Until Primaire show up, they're like 10 feet tall, with even bigger
But
guns.
also you've got,
Riders.
that's the one. And also you've got Cypher from the mysterious and maybe fictional Fallen component of the Dark Angels. But who wins in a shootout, Eddie?
So I think that sounds like if only there was some kind of tabletop miniatures game where you could put them all down on the battlefield and work.
Shill.
Well, you've got a Cypher, right?
I've got a Cypher, so I think
Well, I'm gonna
they
try
do
these guys,
they do slightly different things in game. I think it'd certainly be fun to match them up at one point. The Calamorph's job is very much that kind of character assassin thing. He kind of drops in and he goes 3 bullets through the eye of the enemy captain, whereas the Hexmark Destroyer is very much a mass formation.
Makes
He drops in and he
sense.
goes,
Oh,
"There are 10
what's
people
the
in this
fun in
specific
making
objective. I'd like there not to
sense?"
be. Drop him in, blast away, or, wipes them out in like a single blazing round of glory.
Nice. Well, I guess my last question on him before we move on to the next component, which is 40k related,
Oh.
would be
superior forces in the Jedi. What do these guys have? Let's... Let's see.
Yeah, so
if we're only dealing with one faction versus one faction, so you got your Republic, which is like maybe half the galaxy at the time of the Clone Wars, maybe half the galaxy.
Decide which of those 3 or 6
you have the Imperium of Man, which is the entire galaxy, which spans the entire galaxy, which has spaceship engine, think walking churches, no, think walking skyscrapers, with cannons the size of skyscrapers. I mean, if you remember the old Transformers TV show, like, not Ultra Magnus, I'm thinking of the transforming city, basically, from the old 60s cartoon. Think that, but bigger, and whole legions of them.
I guess the next thing to talk
and AT-ATs are like chihuahuas, puppy chihuahuas, compared to those.
Yes, so there's 2 new expansions coming for Warhammer 40,000. We're going to talk a little bit about both of them. One of them
refresh
is
so you guys can see these.
Match play book, which is the chapter-approved mission.
First, you guys can see what they're talking about on screen at the minute.
The other one is one I'm particularly excited about, which is the first expansion.
Don't know if you guys managed to cast that in time.
So, this is a little bit of the shape of things to come for Warhammer 40,000. This is a book for anybody who plays narrative
so
games
on the left you have the Necrons.
Beyond the Veil, and it's
think Terminator. Whole legions of Terminator, which have disintegration rounds, disintegration stuff, and refuse to die, basically, and randomly teleport all over the place. Teleporting Terminators with disintegration rays. On the right, you have the Space Marines, the 7 to 10 feet tall miniature rocket launcher wielding forces,
if you're enjoying Warhammer 40,000 Crusade,
who also have superheated plasma as well to fire at people. And also throw out the whole usual psychic powers. So you have the Force, we have psychic energy.
So essentially, you can Crusade as it is straight out of the book and have like lovely adventures. This is a theme
context,
area for you to go take your army on.
Bring up the...
It's exactly that, and I think it's exciting. It's exciting for 2 reasons. I think one of them is just because, in its own right, it is a really exciting prospect to kind of go to the Pariah Nexus.
Find the
but
right
it also
trailer.
sets
There
up
we go.
like the type of thing we might see in the future from Crusade. I mean, everybody who has a little bit of Warhammer 40,000 lore will probably be able to list off, half a dozen.
For reference,
cool places they'd like their army to be able to fight in the first millennium.
This is the 41st millennium.
The prospect of having Crusade expansions that are set within those regions, for me, is super exciting. Like, you can list worlds like Vigilis, Armageddon, the ruins of Caliban, the planet of the sorcerers, all these kind of cool places that we know about within the Warhammer 40,000 ecosystem, the Warhammer 40,000 lore, that we could eventually go to. But where the action is happening right now is the Pariah Nexus. We know that this is where the Necrons are making their kind of grand plan for arch-villainy for the Warhammer 40,000 universe. This is where the Imperium's Crusade efforts have just launched into. We're sure this is now no longer the Necrons can't keep this secret anymore. That their kind of grand plan is out, and the forces of the Eldar, anybody who's a greenskin who fancies a scrap, will be gravitating towards this area of the galaxy to kind of join in the battle. And this is what this expansion allows you to do.
I think you maybe have touched on it, but I had a sort of preluded sort of what about, which is, so the cover shows Necrons. We know the Pariah Nexus involves the Necron and there's a Crusade element from the Imperium heading out that way. Who is this for?
So this really is for anybody who wants to play narrative games of Warhammer 40,000. So Crusade, as we know, has got a lot of people very excited with this new edition of Warhammer 40,000. As we've been saying already, it very much feels like the element that Warhammer 40,000 has been missing for years, and this is effectively the first expansion for Crusade. And it is for absolutely anybody who wants to play Crusade in Warhammer 40,000, anyone who likes narrative games.
Yeah, and I think, imagine, like, if you've got a nice game group and you want to sort of take your miniatures off on an adventure and explore a particular part of the universe, this is a brilliant and maybe you build a force specifically for some Crusade-linked games set in this setting, or maybe you take your force that you use all the time and have an adventure there. Sounds like the perfect thing for a close-knit game group who like playing together, but also I could see, like running like a campaign weekend or something.
Yeah, and I think Crusade lends itself to either, really. So if you wanted to theme your entire army around the Pariah Nexus, you absolutely could. You could, paint up the bases covered in like weird Necron crystals and the ruins of Imperial cities that have been kind of flayed by Gorse fire. But equally, if you just wanted to take your army to the Pariah Nexus, to beyond the Veil, you could demonstrate it with things like maybe your Chaos Lord's back banner has a Necron skull on it after you've played here for a little bit, or you decide to put some battle damage on your orc vehicles that looks like they've been hit by loads of scarabs, or that sort of thing. You can have fun with adding those narrative elements onto your armies to represent either the relics you discover or just the fact that you enjoyed playing in this part of the galaxy. It's like a starting point, I think, as much as anything for people to kind of take and inspire them in terms of how they want to do their hobby, how they want to play their games, and it should be seen as like another toolbox to your Crusade options.
That sounds awesome.
Spartans compared to Space Marines are basically the equivalent of Space Marine Scouts, unfortunately.
Of the universe that we would like to explore. I know you name dropped a couple, but the idea that you could cover things like Go Grandire's Apostasy, or the Badab, or any number of things with Crusade rules. It's sort of the first sort of crack through the opening door of a world of possibility for ways to play with your 40k models.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I think everybody's got their favourite little corner of Warhammer 40,000 Galaxy. You can imagine, like, you could put a map in the 40k universe at this point. It's so rich and go, what's here? And you'd be like, oh, this is where...
So it's a bigger fish.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
for context.
Like a ruined craft world, right? How cool would something like that be? It's the opportunities for this, what this book heralds for the future of Warhammer 40,000, I think is really exciting.
For context. This is a Demon Primarch.
What was the other one?
This is a Primaris Space Marine. 10 feet tall, this guy.
Another really exciting,
this is the stuff he faces on a daily basis. If I can get it into the right camera angle here.
So tactical deployment sort of turns on its head the way that you would play match play games of Warhammer 40,000.
So, yeah.
What you do in tactical deployment games is that you bring half the terrain.
There we go, that's better.
And your opponent brings
that guy's 10 feet tall.
And then
superheated plasma weapon. Think the plasma grenades type of thing from Halo. Shoots that.
So this is cool for.
This is the kind of stuff he's fighting on a daily basis.
Start to theme your terrain collection to your army, even if you're a competitive match play player, and know that you're going to be able to benefit from some of the rules within that terrain. So if you know that you've got lots of units,
among other things,
ruins or with woods or with a certain type of scenery, you can build that into the battlefield that you have. The other reason it's really cool is obviously from a gaming perspective. From a kind of collecting perspective, you can make the scenery look appropriate. So if you've got like a Tyranid army, you can make all the scenery look like it's halfway through, like being dissolved by Tyranids, or you can cover it in chaos fanes and kind of cult symbols and stuff like that. One of the things that's
the
really
Nids, Tyranids.
What it does to
think
gaming clubs and tournaments.
Alien
if you've ever tried to
from Alien combined with the bugs from Starship Troopers
to amass the amount of terrain that you might need to
combined with the Zerg from StarCraft.
So what this does is it puts the terrain in the hands of
and they're coming from all around. They're coming from beyond the galaxy.
You bring 3 pieces of terrain, you bring your army, and all the
Power Chaos.
The table space and and then
does the Force have physical manifestations of your own emotions coming to trying to eat you?
A complete tournament, a match play tournament using the contents.
Force lets you throw lightning.
It's a really good way of opening it up.
The Warp/Chaos can throw lightning.
Big or small. And
it can also turn that lightning into a dog of lightning or a man of lightning who will then try to kill you with your own sword.
You don't need to. You can have your.
And if you kill that, and if you manage to kill the lightning, it can come back next week and kill you again. With the exact, because when you kill something in the materium that's come from
explaining
the warp. You're not
me,
actually killing it. It's just kind of returns there.
In his room that he was showing me, and it looks really cool when you turn up and you've got nice pieces that are built to theme your army. You imagine the bit, when you break for lunch and you have.
I mean, it's literally demons.
Put your army down alongside your train.
Your own inner demons coming up to literally come up and eat you.
To move on, but there's a release coming out alongside that as well. Yes.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
That looks lovely. Gonna refresh this so you guys can see this.
For Warhammer 40,000 that's released recently.
That looks lovely.
Terrain will come soon, and this obviously fits in really nicely with both of those books that we've just talked about. Both the Pariah Nexus.
That's some nice terrain.
Veil book, basically representing the kind of half-ruined Imperial worlds that lie within the Necron's growing domain. So if you want to,
that should look very nice. Yeah.
Nexus, this is basically what they look like. This is the kind of ruins of the Imperial manufactorums that the Necrons.
Basically, yeah, they could have Anakin fighting Darth Vader. Yeah.
Start building a terrain collection with an eye to using it within your match play games for that kind of game. These boxes, these new terrain, give you a really nice way to kind of very quickly amass that terrain collection that you'd need. And this box you're looking at now, the Vertigus box, basically gives you everything one player would need to bring to a battlefield to go. This is all of the scenery that I'm bringing, and you can see that would fit really nicely with either a Necron.
Just loving the details on this.
Taking that and reconstituting it into its constituent atoms, or an Adeptus Mechanicus force, or Space Marine or Imperial Defensive Force of some sort.
The big terrain piece you see on the left is called an autochoral transmitter, and looks like something worth fighting over. It's got like I don't know what it does. It transmits autochorals, one presumes.
I think it's like a really gothic music box.
Sounds great. Somebody said it reminds them of the Inquisitomata video game place. There's a bit in that we can go and get upgrades. So who knows? But it's also a nice indicator of maybe, if the way you want to play is using these new terrain options.
I could see Titanfall's Titans being effective here. Yeah, they would not go miss. They would not go amiss in this.
In the last few years, I think the scenery team has done an absolutely outstanding job. So some of the kind of gothic stuff and the Sector Mechanicus, the Sector Imperialis, and now the Sector Nuditorum stuff. It's just incredible, like the flexibility built into those kits. They all mix with each other. They all kind of stack infinitely on top of each other. You can build something as grand as just a dream. You can build an entire Imperial Cathedral out of the amount of options and things that you now have with Warhammer 40,000 scenery.
It's not like it was in my day when it was upside down yoga pots painted grey.
They have a charm.
Rustic charm. There's been a few people in the chat saying, "Are we going to get some Age of Sigmar related stuff?" Well, we're about to take a look into the more.
So we've done the Horus Heresy, we've done Necromunda, and we've just done 40k. So now we're onto the Age of Sigmar. Ooh, Warcry. Here we go. Oh, I wish you guys could watch this. Animation! Sparta kick! Surprised he hasn't jumped down the hole with him. Hello. Oh, these look lovely. Well, that's because they aren't in their back pockets.
Amazing. How exciting.
They're on each and every single ship.
Absolutely. So, Warcry category is a new core
quite a few of the larger ships in the 40k universe have a missile
and rather than being
to
above
basically what is called Exterminatus, which, well, makes the world uninhabitable by
goes into the dungeons
partially exploding it,
civilizations into the
regardless of whether or not people are still on it.
The center of chaos in the mortal realms, and it features two.
Who needs a Death Star? We've got a missile that does the same thing.
And that kind of Chaos Force with the Scions of the Flame, the kind of
virus
fire,
bombs,
Chaos, marauders,
exterminatus missiles.
It brings them together in a brand new box set, along with loads of new scenery, loads of new terrain, loads of new background, and basically an exciting box set for anybody who plays Warcry, because it gives you a new place
Just gonna
to play.
refresh this so you can see the
gives you a great way to kind of jump into
box that they've got shown on here.
On two warbands we previewed some time ago,
yeah, basically I think any biological weapon you can think of and expand that. That is basically 40k version of the Death Star.
But then you saw it transition into the miniatures, and the terrain setups there just looked awesome. This thing blows my mind. I need to know more.
Yes, so this is a very different look to Warcry than what we've seen from the original core set. I think it's worth remembering. Warcry, I think, is definitely one of the kind of smash hit successes we've had.
That just changed on its own there. That's nice.
The core box, if you remember, sold out.
Warhammer guys could destroy the Death Star. Oh yes.
Than we expected.
Yeah, they could blow it up without having to go to any kind of
for months now. This delivers
exhaust tubes or anything. They could just kind of
you get two options
boom
in this box in terms of how you want to set your battlefield up, and you can build it modularly so you can swap around between the two.
It's the 41st millennium and there is only war.
Well, is the underground.
Quite literally, there's no such thing as peace. It is just straight up an eternal war.
So one of the things that I think when I first saw this, it reminds me very much of kind of old.
That's the problem when you try to compare one thing to another, especially if that thing you're trying to compare to is 40k, because 40k is just.
Then you kind of delve into it a bit more, and there's loads of cool.
It is almost cartoonish in how.
The lava, you've got
overpowered everything is. It is just cartoon levels, basically.
Go in the box as well, so you've got the kind of the on fire side of the flame who are kind of channeling the raging furnace of chaos into their kind of magical bolts.
It's like trying to compare
the shadows which are made manifest.
Who's a stronger fighter, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Superman?
This kind of horrendous chaos dungeon.
It's like you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as Star Wars, Superman as 40k. It is like
the original Warcry launch
is that kind of comparison.
Mortal realms that we've never seen, but often wondered about. What was it like to be?
One is severely overpowered.
Hoping to aspire.
One is more regular.
What does Archeon's dungeon look like? What's it like to fight, in like the hellish pits beneath the earth? And it really resonates with all that we love about the imagery of the Mortal Realms now, but also it has that old school feel. I've seen a load of people in the chat talking about it. It gives you that warm, fuzzy, almost Hero Quest vibe, doesn't it? With these portals, with the skulls above them, and I can't wait to. I think we're both just excited and want to yammer about it, but I can't wait to turn Stormcast Eternals loose in there and go and crack some heads beneath Archeon's fortress. That's exciting.
Well, one of the things we know about Archeon's fortress is what is now the 8 Points is built on the ruins of the All Points, which is like this used to be this kind of centre of commerce and learning and a wondrous kind of mega city within the Mortal Realms that kind of connect them all together. So in the bowels of this kind of dungeon, you've got the relics of this ancient kind of this ancient structures which have kind of relics of order from centuries past, which are definitely mined and explored by all the various races of the Mortal Realms.
Meanwhile, above the ground, you've got the classic Warcry terrain, and this is the reverse side of that scenery board, right?
Yeah, this all comes in the same box. So in that one box set, you get the dungeon stuff, and if the other terrain you get in there gives you enough to kind of build your kind of classic Warcry.
The problem is with that
as much of the above ground terrain as you get in the Warcry box set, but you still get enough to kind of fill a board fairly.
All the Reapers do is
you get the kind of ruined
try to wipe out life in their own regard.
It looks like
we've already got that in the form of the Necrons, and the Tyranids trying to eat everything.
You've just seen the chat go wild as they've realised how awesome this box
and that's just two of the factions.
Some underground battles. You've got this tremendous above ground terrain that we've come to love from the original Warcry launch. Ben, show us the next slide. Let's just go straight in there, because it'd be really cool to jam in a look at the warbands. We teased these before, Eddie. What's the story here?
Yeah,
alright, so just going to refresh the page so you guys can see these models for the Age of Sigmar stuff. For the Dark Elf warband, by the looks of things here, the Drukhari warband.
personal.
Not Drukhari. Drukhari is different. Drukhari is 40k, not
a lot of stuff in the
Dark Elves here.
Hint back to some of that really old kind of fantasy archetypes of elven assassins and witch elves, but they've kind of made them completely Age of Sigmar-ified them. So their cloaks are literally cloaks of shadow, and you get really nice. Cool. You get really nice things where the shadows are kind of blending into the background or turning into weapons. I really love that the main character's kind of shadow cloak is turning into an almost snake trail, which is mirroring the Marathi model herself, obviously, and those kind of Melusai that come with her. But you've also got things like the warlock on the far right. There is like
now, as for Age of Sigmar, that's much more like Conan the Barbarian type of thing.
Classic dark elf kind of repeater crossbow.
Well, I'd imagine, yeah, the clones and all that. This is like this is for Age of Sigmar. This what we're looking at now is for. Second, if I turn this down a bit.
Somebody in the chat said, as long as we get a tutorial for the dark purple, I'm happy. We will make sure.
These guys are Age of Sigmar, so these are more like the Conan the Barbarian setting for Games Workshop. What we were talking about previously was 40k. So.
Shadow versus flame. The bowels of the catacombs beneath the 8 points.
So,
on the top right,
yeah, the Jedi and the clones would probably do all right against these guys. They'd probably do. They'd be. Oh, sweet! The stream seems to be behaving itself now, for now at least. So you guys, so that did itself there. Nice.
Incredible new box set.
But yeah,
a lot of people are going to be picking this box up.
These guys look nice
for all the stuff that comes in it, but particularly for this box. I think that the guy top right with that kind of weird chaos flaming samurai aesthetic is one of the coolest chaos boxes released in recent years, and that is saying something.
Yeah,
the Wolfen.
Essentially, what we've seen is
yeah.
Just
8 feet tall werewolves in power armor.
As they have put to work their insane skills to make models that blow my mind.
It's like, I would not mind playing Warcry or just even straight up collecting it. Never mind playing it. I just love to collect this kind of stuff. This is just.
And they're so uniquely different from all the other warbands you've seen. There's this wonderful thing where you must like one of the warbands across the Warcry range. Up till now, my favourites have been the.
It's just.
But my brain has just completely escaped. There you go. And I say flame ones because they take their faces off and wear them on their belts. It's a bit weird. But these guys are on fire, and that's even cooler. Sold. So, what else is there to say about this? It's an all-new core box for Warcry.
I went Paragon mostly.
Including 2 options of where you play.
There were some cases where I went, I have to go Renegade for this option. The rest of the time I was Paragon.
And I barely recovered from this. Hit the next video.
Alright, so we're on to the next video now. Looks like we're getting some more Luminef stuff for the main portion of Age of Sigmar. This looks interesting. Oh, hold on. They're starting up some kind of card thing here. What's all this then? That does not look decidedly anything elvish. Hello. Okay. Oh, this is for Underworlds, okay. Dire Chasm is the next season for the Warhammer Underworlds setting they've got for the Age of Sigmar. Okay. Interesting.
So there we have it. The next season of the Ultimate Tabletop Competitive Miniatures game announced.
What did I go Renegade on? Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, so this is.
It has been that long ago.
Of Warhammer Underworlds. We already knew there was a new season.
I cannot for the life of me remember.
This is it. It's this Dire Chasm. We know a little bit about it already, and we can talk a bit about some of the things that we've seen in that teaser so far. So Dire Chasm, very much still set within the Beastgrave itself, the kind of massive living mountain that is that kind of has absorbed the city of Shadespire, and obviously fought over by the various different realms and beasts and warbands that dwell within. And this is season 4. So and we got a little bit of a tease there about some of the factions that may be inside it.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a fairly light tease. But it doesn't take a detective to know that there's 2 warbands in there that people have been very excited about. I think Ben's going to hit an image and we'll bring up the... so this is the cover for the Diachasm box, and if you were in any doubt, because we were a little bit subtle in the video, which I like...
Just going to refresh so you guys can see this box for Diachasm. Assuming this behaves.
Yep, so I think fairly clear at this point that what we're looking at for the core box for the new season of Warhammer Underworlds is a Lumineth force and a Slaanesh force, which is pretty cool and exciting, because I think Lumineth are obviously the latest new army for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We're kind of halfway through the release of those guys for the main force. We've had the kind of the box set itself, and we're all looking forward to kind of the expansion of those. And what we've seen with all of the Warhammer...
Yeah, that should be interesting to see how this plays out.
They give you like a really nice archetype for what those... for what those models can be. They give you like alternate poses and kind of great character sculpts. So looking forward to a really nice looking Lumineth warband. On the other side, though, we've got a force of Slaanesh, which is exciting, because I think we've seen quite a lot of Slaanesh-y demon-y things recently.
Yeah, these are the Header Knights, right?
These are the Head Knights, yeah. So we've seen a little bit about the Head Knights. Obviously, they've had a new battle tome recently. We've seen some new demons. The
Jedi clones would probably do all right in the Mass Effect universe. Yeah, that's a comparison that would do all right.
Possibly mortal followers of the god of pleasure and excess as well.
Yeah, the Slaanesh Header Knights are proper wrong'uns, and it looks like the guy is sort of the largest one on the Slaanesh half of that box has gone a bit too far on something. There's a really nice old school feel to this cover as well. The elf at the back holding up the owl looks absolutely cracking, and I kind of hope the owl's in there somewhere.
The owl, I think, is in there, and I think if you roll through some of the old Warhammer Rumour engines, you might even get a spot of a nice close-up on its face.
Oh, really?
May have been something that we featured in the past. I think what I really like about what we can see so far of some of the Slaaneshi things in there is they look very reminiscent to some of the really, really early Warhammer Fantasy Slaanesh stuff from like the first and second edition of that game from like almost 30 years ago at this point. So I'm excited to see those in the full flesh, as it were, when they come to release.
Yes. So whenever there's a new season for Warhammer Underworlds, there's a bunch of more warbands that come out for it, so that you can expand your gaming opportunities. Any hints or anything as to what else is coming alongside? We might have something of a hint later on in this very preview, Adam, but we'll save that for when it shows up. But what we do know about Warhammer Underworlds is that there's pretty much a default format now for how these roll out. We always have a core set, and we always have at least 6 other warbands that accompany that as well. So far, we've seen almost kind of 70-80% of the Warhammer's various factions have been represented in form as warbands in Warhammer Underworlds, and effectively what happens is every single time we release a new edition of Warhammer Underworlds, everybody's very keen to see their favourite faction, or maybe a faction they want to see explored a bit more. There's one faction requested more than any other to make an appearance in Underworlds.
There is, and we might see him later, but I think we have one other thing to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about
that. You got excited, Adam. You got ahead of yourself.
Hit it.
So we've got one other thing to talk to you about. So this is Beastgrave Arena Mortis. So before the next season drops, we have one more gift for people who play Beastgrave, and this is an expansion which is basically a multiplayer version of Warhammer Underworlds. And the way that this differs from your normal games is that rather than having a full warband each, you effectively pick your favourite character, your kind of your main...
That's interesting. Picking one character out of your entire warband, grab all your mates, each of you picks one dude, sticks him in a battle royale.
And slay each other inside the Beastgrave. So this is basically like a really fun kind of multiplayer way of playing Warhammer Underworlds. And this expansion is on the way pretty soon, actually, before the next season drops.
Like it. You've been one of your warriors from your warband, right?
That's absolutely right. And obviously, there's a lot of different characters to choose from. Every warband has basically got like a most warbands have like a kind of best character, but you don't necessarily need to pick that one. There's some balancing mechanics in there to kind of encourage you to take all sorts of different various characters and things. But effectively, what you're trying to do is basically it's just a big, massive, fun, almost party-esque sort of game. So if you've played a Warhammer tournament or something, and you've got an evening to spend doing something, or you want to have a little extra thing thrown into your games night to have a little bit of multiplayer fun, this is a really nice way.
Tinker of purity, it's good beer.
But enough prevarication. I want to see the thing that's coming. Come on, Ben, hit it. This was very exciting when we saw it. Ta-da! The next.
Oh, that is cute.
Is the Seraphon coming to Warhammer Underworlds?
This is cute. I've got to show you guys. This is just adorable. It's a skink with a. It's a chameleon with a blow dart.
The most requested warband we had almost from day one was Seraphon, and I think what we can confirm today is that one of the warbands in the next season in Dire Chasm will be the Seraphon, and as you can see here, we've got a model to show you.
That is adorable.
I think if the rest of the warband look even half as cool as this guy, it's going to be probably the best looking warband. Or certainly one.
So I've always been completely obsessed with the chameleon skins. Many years ago.
I do love the painting on the tail, and especially on the eye. That unless that eye is molded to have the swirls, that is an insane paint job.
Strapped to his waist, and some paintbrushes. They're not paintbrushes. They're poison darts ready to be taken out.
It is just adorable.
I think
it is adorable and deadly.
It's always been a really fun part of the Lizardmen and then Seraphon Force.
I might have to get that just because how cute that is.
The one chameleon skink who's like a hunter of chaos. Yeah. Obviously, there is a unit of them now you can take in Seraphon armies, but that unit, I think, with greatest respect to them, is quite a few years old now. So I think what this model basically does is it goes, if you could make one of these guys right now with the technology and the skill the Citadel Miniatures team have, what would it look like? And this, it looks amazing. Like he's so cool. He's got that kind of slightly, almost kind of cute aesthetic that skinks have, but also completely alien. He's definitely a kind of sentient skink at the same time as being a weird alien kind of reptile creature, and I think you're right, that kind of little frog tied to his waist with the blow pipes in is very cool.
I'm very excited to see what else is in the warband. I don't know anything at all about the size and shape of it, but if he's the first thing we get to see, I am hyped. So far in our journey
that is just adorable.
The Mortal Realms, we've had a bit of Warcry, we've had the next season announced of Warhammer Underworlds. Let's hit the next video and see what else we have to say.
Alright, what do we have next? Okay, Age of Sigmar main stuff now. Hello. A war of shade and suffering begins. Ooh, God. Ooh. Oh, that looks nice. Ooh. That looks lovely.
Boom, we are back. So, Shadow and Pain, Eddie, give us the lowdown.
Absolutely, Adam. So this is a brand new battle box on its way for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and as we can see, it contains both the forces of Morathi with her...
Just going to refresh this so you guys can see this box. Shadow and Pain.
A mixed force of mortals and demons.
Gotta do a let's play of Mass Effect.
Shadow and Pain obviously referred to the
well, depending on what this remaster thing, what platforms this remaster apparently goes on, maybe.
The element of excess that Slaanesh embodies. So really cool box set. Every time we release one of these,
might do that.
Obviously,
I mean, in the works, I've got definitely planned to do a Valhalla playthrough, so I'm definitely planning on doing that.
What they bring. And here is the full battle box in all of its glory, and you can see the two new miniatures at the centre of that battle box.
Yeah, so you've got it's a mix, I guess, of demons and Hedonites. You've got the sort of the mortal followers riding their seekers, the steeds of Slaanesh, sorry, and then you've got the demonettes at the front, and then you've got the Melusai and the if I can remember the name of the
Lord of Pain.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I just completely breezed over the two new characters. Lord of Pain is an absolute beef castle of...
the Melusai being the, snake ladies. You can see there.
If you've got
half of the... you've got snake ladies and you've got bat harpy people for the forces of Morathi.
You're quite right.
For the blood god. For the murder god.
Yeah,
and you've got human and demon...
So this is.
Let's see if the stream will behave with us.
Yeah, that's right. So he is a brand new kind of Chaos Lord level character for the head and
This just looks gorgeous.
It is cool for a number of reasons. So obviously the miniature itself is very cool. This is one of the first mortal followers we've seen effectively for since the release of Warhammer Age of Sigmar for Slaanesh. And you can see that
it doesn't seem to be playing all now. So
loads of the various.
So just got to refresh so you guys can see this guy, the Lord of Pain model for the Slaanesh side of this box.
More for show,
it's like, oh lordy.
Protection. You've got kind of those kind of curving claws that are reminiscent of the demonettes or the keepers of secrets. You've got that very brutal looking mace mixed with the kind of bits of it that look like they're designed to cause pain and inflict damage, alongside bits of them that seem ludicrously decorative. And I think again, this for me harks back to some of those really, really early Warhammer Fantasy models with things like
this is a lovely model.
Yeah, I think you've hit it on its head, on the head. The sort of classic Warhammer Slaanesh models from when I was a wee lad are echoed here in a really interesting and pleasing way.
He's got that scythe thing
brutal at the same time, which I think
sewn into his back.
Of Slaanesh, really nicely. What was the other counterpart? There we go. So the other.
Yeah, the four gods are in both settings. They just appear in different orders. Now let's see if this behaves itself.
So,
yeah, and this is the Melusai for the Daughters of Cain, for the Murder God.
Another character to choose from, and it's very much a kind of combat heavy character. There's further expanding the options.
Sadly, not the Emperor's Children, no.
She looks heavily blessed by the god Cain and or possibly Morathi, with that kind of serpentine body. You can loads of great little details on this are probably worth exploring. So you've got things like the hearts of former victims you can see there on a chain around her belt. In some ways, this is the good guy character from the so just bear that in mind.
This is the good guy.
Right now. She represents the forces of order compared to the forces of faith.
You know you're in trouble when she's one of the allies you turn to if you want to fight for order.
But loads of really elegant stuff on there as well. So you've got that kind of blade that she's carrying, the kind of one end with the
this is one of your
one end, which is the kind of writhing serpents.
You've
got the kind of ruined
excess pleasure demons on the left.
The arm
Gorgon bat people on the right.
A little bit like the rest of the kind of snake
one
themed
worships excess and avarice in all things,
and a helmet there,
physical and material, and the other one worships a god of murder and blood, which will sacrifice you willingly. Which was the good guy?
I just love the way they've made it so that the tail is sort of curling around the fallen sort of it's just a fantastic looking model.
Welcome to Warhammer in general. Even with the good guys, you find things like, I know the tech.
With extra material to get your game on and to explore the battles between them. So narrative is good for the Mortal Realms at the moment. Maybe there's something else to show along these lines.
It's like,
boom.
Yeah, so this box set comes out alongside a book called Broken Realms Morathi, and this is a really big deal for anybody who
picture to behave itself in here,
and the kind of mega story arc of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, because this is the first book in a new kind of mega arc narrative
in the 41st millennium.
Broken Realms, and this book focuses on Morathi and her servants.
This is one of the quote-unquote good guys.
In the Mortal Realms, you have the kind of pantheon of the elven gods. We've seen the return of Teclis recently. We know that the forces of chaos and the forces of death have been rising of late, and the forces of the elves are kind of try to
the Warhammer
counter that. They've been kind of
they probably would be able to beat the Reapers.
Dimensions, the realm of Haish, the realm of Shadow, but this is the moment where they kind of go, right, we're going to make our play to fix stuff. But Morathi has her kind of own goals and own ambitions and her own ends. She's been siphoning the power of Cain to her own ends with the goal of eventually attaining godhood. And if she can achieve that, then her long-dreamed ambition will have come to pass.
Yeah, Morathi is one of Warhammer's most enduring and interesting characters. Essentially, like way back in the earliest years of the world that was, she was, the mother of Anarion, not Anarion, Anarion's wife, the mother of Malekith, and she's endured through all of the old world's calamities, and into the mortal realms, you know, with the destruction of the world that was. And she has never stopped plugging away.
This image here is the good guys have fire.
Quest, for you know, being risen to godhood.
So this one is Necrons versus Eldar, who are the kind of space elves.
Other gods of the mortal realms.
Just for context,
Broken Realms as well is this is just the
Necrons are basically our version of the Reapers.
Will cover vast amounts of space and lore for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So I don't know if you remember back to the launch of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, where you had the Realmgate War series, where we sort of saw this huge story unfold over a series of books, and this will be similar to that in the sense of what you're getting is this huge narrative playing out on a kind of massive scale. So we've got a few little bits of artwork.
Oh, I love this artwork. I'm definitely gonna have to refresh here so you guys can see this, because this is absolutely gorgeous.
Between the realms of shadow and light, where Slaanesh is captive.
It looks like the prison's having trouble.
It does look a little bit like
the prison holding Slaanesh is
robustly as the elven forces.
That is
hoping for. So definitely looks like the captured god of Slaanesh there is maybe not as captured or not as contained fully as they maybe would be hoping for.
Yeah.
I think. Here we go. Even more. So, just an incredible battle between not necessarily who you'd expect. It looks like elves fighting elves.
Yeah, so we know that
this art is lovely.
The Idoneth Deepkin have got no love lost for each other, but they very seldom break out into all-out war. But this very much looks like it. So this is a kind of elf on elf, not exactly civil war, so far from it. But you've got the forces of the Deepkin up against the Daughters of Cain there. You can see the High King of the Idoneth leading a charge against what looks like the Serpentine. Marathi.
Doesn't look like the stream for YouTube has managed to flip to the next image, so I'm gonna flip to this image now with it.
Gaining some kind of new.
If I had to say the Covenant, the version of the Covenant,
one of the things that's been most interesting to see them all
purely because it's an alliance of alien races bound towards a singular goal. Probably the Tau, maybe.
Sort of new stories and legends and myths.
Except not as religious doctrine.
Marathi is first in this Broken
And
series.
they don't desire to trigger,
I'm about to get what I love most about the Age of
life-extinguishing halos.
Which is more lore to breathe sort of life and character and fullness into the realms. I know the team that work.
Yeah, this is the Idoneth Deepkin, who are kind of like underwater elves, versus the
about doing more for this setting. And so to see
Daughters of
like this and to realise that
Cain, who are the blood murder god elves.
Tentative allies is really exciting. And to see how that's going to change the fabric of the mortal realms as we know it.
I think that the forces of order have always been.
Gotta love the artwork.
Exactly all of one mind, even the ones that get along really well don't
absolutely.
necessarily get along all that well.
Yeah. So it's been pretty rad. I guess my one question before we sort of move into finishing up is: will this series affect every faction in Age of Sigmar? How is that going to work? What can you tell us at this point?
Yeah, so Broken Realms.
No, the Galactic Empire would not last long.
Will bring new lore and content for all of the various battle tomes and factions.
It would not last long at all.
Only the start of what will be a really cool overriding.
Someone did a video on this a while ago.
It's also going to bring new ways to play with your armies. And
that I remember seeing.
New units, new models, new ways to kind of engage with that. So it's a really exciting time for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I think. Obviously, we've had a lot of Warhammer 40,000 recently, and it's time to kind of, maybe put the spotlight on the Mortal Realms and see what's going on there, because there's some really cool stuff coming.
I totally agree. What a time to be a hobbyist.
I mean, you could just literally put into Google Galactic Empire versus Warhammer, and there's a few things in here about that subject. Who could go into greater detail than I can. It is just.
We've had a bit of a treat seeing the newest book for the Horus Heresy series with Crusade, and a glimpse of the Conticar Terminators. We've delved into the Underhive, my personal favourite little spot, and looked at the forthcoming House of Iron. Warhammer 40,000 has had a real treat with a glimpse of the new Hexmark Destroyer, the new expansions coming for the mission pack for Crusade.
Oh no, this has been a nice wee reveal stream, so it has.
Terrain rules and a fantastic looking terrain set.
Chat has relatively behaved itself.
Box of Warcry, delving beneath
from the Twitch side of things, that's relatively behaved itself, which is always surprising.
Next warband within that season of Underworlds announced. Expansion for Underworlds with multiplayer battles. The Mortal Realms blown further open with a cool new box game, and the continuing narrative and rules with the first of these broken rules supplements. It's been a wild afternoon. What are you most excited about, Eddie?
It was very much a case of
very hard to pick one, Adam.
When Vader appeared in Fallen Order, it was like,
pick two.
oh,
so I think
run away, because it is Vader. We are not equipped to handle Vader in the game.
I'm excited about the first Crusade expansion for Warhammer 40,000. I think Beyond the Veil for me is like an absolute
very much. No.
Kind of take my Crusade army to exciting new places, and by the same token, I think I'm super excited about Broken for the same reasons of having a brand new narrative for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which I think I've been enjoying every year more and more as time goes on.
I think those are great picks. I have to go with the House of Iron. They are my boys, and now girls. I love it. I think that's one of, maybe out of all the things, the little nod. Since the earliest lore of the House Orlok, it's mentioned that the men and women fight side by side, and House Orlok are often the house that the Escher turn to when they need an alliance, because they're egalitarian and generally good eggs. And so finally, we saw the artwork start to creep up about 4 or 5 years ago in Necromunda with some of the female Orlok models and characters. To finally get models of them is really happy time for me. So more of that, please. I want.
So it's always good to see more models.
I'm gonna throw in one extra one. I'm actually super excited about. I think the chameleon skink. I think
yes,
what else comes in
the chameleon skink.
It
is adorable.
Like 20 years for a chameleon skink that looks.
Who is equipped to handle Vader? Luke Skywalker.
Things that have been in the really old Warhammer Lizardmen army books from
Ahsoka Tano.
I think that model is just everything I ever wanted him to be. So almost, even if he's the only thing that comes in that warband.
Not the noob who's only just recently picked the lightsaber back up.
To do is to thank everybody who has come and joined us, whether you've woken up early, stayed up late, or it's just the middle of the afternoon and you convinced your family that you should be allowed the big telly to watch the preview on. Thanks for joining in.
Sorry, my brain just immediately went to the
enjoy doing these. It's been
Emperor text-to-speech version of Kaldor Dragout, and I was like, oh god, he fought Vader.
Early April, that's right.
And it feels like we've done a bunch. And it seems that you guys enjoy them because you turn up in droves. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this the fun it is. I believe what we're going to do is run all of the videos back to back as like a send-off. And then we'll leave you with your afternoon. If you want more information on anything you've seen here, get over to warhammercommunity.com. There's an article, it's all live there now, which will tell you...
I never actually played Fallen Order. I was watching my brother play Fallen Order. I was like, ooh,
for the Warhammer hobby.
Run! As for Stormtroopers, it's very much a case like, in my brain was going, get out the way, I'm going through. Don't have time for you, don't have time for you. Woof! But
for now,
basically,
goodbye from Eddie Eccles. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, so that was the stream. Don't need to have the Iron Imperial Guard for that. But yeah, thank you guys for joining with the stream, and hope to see you guys again later on. JaffaArchfiend out. I've got some models to paint. See you later.